Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining us. So excited to be here today with Lori Sylvia. We're excited to share with everybody an introduction to recruitment marketing and tell you a little bit more about what it is and why it matters. So Lori, thank you for being here today and sharing some of your expertise and experience with our audience.
Hi, Carrie. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, so hi, everyone. I'm Lori Sylvia. I'm the founder and CEO of Rally Recruitment Marketing. And we have an online community that teaches recruitment marketing to HR practitioners and recruiting practitioners. And so I'm really excited to be partnering with Carrie and with the telemetry and JobVite teams to be producing this webinar for you today.
Right. And yeah, Lori and Rally have been longtime partners of Telemetry. So Telemetry is a recruitment marketing platform, and I help to lead the marketing team there. And like I said, Rally's been a longtime partner and really has helped our audience and our customer base really mature and improve on their recruitment marketing practices. So thanks, Lori.
Great. So shall we get started?
Well, let's go.
All right. So today we are going to give you guys an introduction to recruitment marketing, and let me just walk through what we will learn today. So we're going to cover what is recruitment marketing and explain the difference between recruiting and recruitment marketing. We'll walk through some of the key marketing skills that every talent acquisition and human resources professional needs now, whether you practice recruitment marketing full-time or not. We'll walk through which recruitment marketing strategies and programs can help you attract, engage, and convert candidates into your jobs in your company. We'll also look at the technologies that are increasingly important to effective and successful recruitment marketing. We're going to look a little bit about measurement. We can't talk about marketing without testing, optimization, and measurement, and hopefully give you some tips and tricks to help you get started. So let's start out with a definition of what is recruitment marketing. Recruitment marketing is the emerging practice of using marketing strategies to attract and recruit talent. And it's both a strategy for HR and talent acquisition professionals, but it's also a career opportunity for a growing number of specialists. And whether you practice it full-time or part-time, as I said, you really need a set of skills, practices, and technologies to be effective with recruitment marketing. So when we talk about recruitment marketing, we talk about marketing practices like using brand awareness to increase the awareness of your company as a great employer, developing a career site and then optimizing how you attract traffic to your career site and jobs and how you convert those people into applicants, creating a set of rich content that can help you tell your employer brand story, using social media to engage talent, and of course, job advertising, as well as really looking at communications from an end-to-end candidate experience perspective. So that's how we define recruitment marketing in the Rally recruitment marketing community. And Carrie, why don't you tell us a little bit about why is recruitment marketing important to practitioners from your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lori. There's so many benefits to adding recruitment marketing to an overall talent acquisition strategy. And Brandon Hall had done some research a couple of years ago around recruitment marketing and what are the benefits to organizations. And what they found is that really just across the board, organizations that are maturing their recruitment marketing are getting much better quality out of their recruiting efforts. So the quality of hire was improved by 31%. They were able to improve their time to hire by 39%. New hire retention improved by 25%. New hire engagement increased by 32%. And just overall better candidate retention. So keeping those candidates that we, invested on hiring improved by 49%. By making that investment in recruitment marketing, really articulating the employer branding and understanding the value proposition of an employer, recruiters are able to paint a better picture of the company, better engage with candidates, and really get to know who's going to be the right fit for the role. So recruiters can build stronger relationships with candidates and enable both the candidate and the employer to really get to know each other through recruitment marketing. And then ultimately, recruiters were able to get candidates more excited, more energized, and then more committed to working on their new role. So just across the board, there's great ROI and great benefits to investing in a recruitment marketing strategy.
These are great stats. And it shows also why you need to have the skills in order to practice recruitment marketing, because it's a strategy, but you can't really do it without the skills and these practices, as well as the technologies that can help you to be successful. So I thought maybe we should just take a step back and explain the difference between recruiting and recruitment marketing, because I'm sure a lot of you who are in HR, and recruiting is one of the many things that you're responsible for, and you're sitting there saying, well, hey, wait a minute, I also practice recruitment marketing, and you probably do, which is great. But one simple differentiation in my mind is that recruiting attracts talent to jobs, whereas recruitment marketing attracts talent to an employer. So when you today are thinking about marketing your jobs, you're pretty much taking one job and you're advertising that through multiple channels, whether that's having your job scraped by job boards, or you're proactively distributing those jobs to select channels. But it's one job showing up in multiple places. With recruitment marketing, you need to think about it in a different way. You're not really leading with a job. You're leading with the value of working for your company. And so to do that, you need to create a rich set of content and stories that help convey the value proposition about why somebody would really want to work with you. And in doing that, you're creating a lot of different content. And that content is appearing across all of the different recruiting channels that you can use to reach your audience, to reach those target candidates. So it's sort of, recruiting is that one to many approach, and recruitment marketing is really the many. It's not so much the one, it's the many trying to bring in the one. So hopefully that gives you a different perspective of the difference between recruiting and recruitment marketing, and hopefully that makes sense.
I think that's a great distinction, Lori.
Awesome. All right. So if you're going to practice recruitment marketing and this really borrow these modern marketing strategies to help you attract and recruit talent, but also from an HR perspective to also engage your employees, which really is using a lot of marketing strategies there as well, there are some essential skills that you're going to need to be successful. And before I explain these skills, I just want to say that I think that really everyone in HR and talent acquisition needs to have these skills going forward. I think, when I look at the way marketing evolved as a career, and I've been in marketing for over 20 years, 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't something called digital marketing. We really weren't using social media as a channel for marketing. And today, if you just ask your peers in marketing about digital marketing, they would tell you that it's just something that they do. So even the person who, let's say, is responsible for communications and PR, that person absolutely needs to know how to engage an audience through social media. The people on your marketing team who are doing product marketing, who are doing content marketing, if they don't understand search engine optimization, then no one's ever going to find their content. So yes, there are some people that might have that title called digital marketing, but more and more, it's just an essential skill set that everyone in the marketing team needs. And I think recruitment marketing is following that same trajectory for everyone in HR and talent acquisition. And so these are the 4 areas that you'll need to really think about, and maybe you're practicing some of them today, which is great. but this is the future of this profession. So this could be an area for you to think about upskilling in the future. And one area is about employer branding, which is being able to define why should a candidate choose to work for you? And it's sort of a higher level discussion than just why should they apply for a job. And being able to look at your value proposition in terms of those key messages. And in employer branding, there's something called an employer value proposition, which is really answering that why. Most organizations will tie that back to their corporate values and their mission. And there will be a set of 3 to 4, sometimes 5, but 5 is often too many, 3 to 4 key pillars. And if you can basically distill that value proposition down to 3 or 4 key statements that answer that why, boom, you're already practicing employer branding and you might not even realize it. And this is a key skill set because you need to build awareness for your company as an employer. And of course, also to manage your reputation as an employer. And we know that there's a growing number of review sites that are really influencing how candidates find and think about your organization. So employer branding is very much tied to a reflection of your employee experience. And I know that that's something that this organization is really focused on. Another set of skills is around content and communication. And I think that recruitment marketing plays a very important role in the candidate experience. Everyone, of course, in HR and TA plays an important role in the candidate experience. In fact, everyone in the company, anyone who interfaces with a candidate has an important role to play. But in recruitment marketing, we can think about the candidate experience as a communications experience. And really, a candidate is on a journey with your company to answer questions. So being able to use marketing practices and candidate experience, what you're really doing is thinking about those questions that your candidates have at each stage of their candidate journey and figuring out how to create content, how to enable your recruiters to be able to answer those questions so that they can continue to move along in their journey with you and hopefully apply and hopefully accept your offer. In this realm of content, you need to be able to tell amazing stories about what it's really like to work at your company, and authentic and true stories. And you need to be able to do that across all formats. So it's not just sharing content on social media, writing a blog post, but video is becoming an increasingly important skill. And you can do it yourself because everyone's smartphone today can take pretty good quality video. Another set of skills is around using social media. Many organizations have really one set of social channels. That's the corporate social media channels, and it's managed by the marketing team. And for most organizations, that's probably the right approach. There are some organizations that have separate channels for recruiting, for careers. And those channels are managed by the HR and talent acquisition team. So there's not really one right approach there. But regardless of whether you have dedicated channels or everybody is using the same channels, you still need to create content about your career opportunities and about what it's like to work for your company, and either create that content and share it yourself or partner with the marketing team to do it. And beyond just the company channels, every one of us has our own social networks. So we need to be really good at creating content that will attract the right candidates and engage them and get them interested. One of the most important pieces of content that will do that are employee stories and employee generated content. So hopefully you have a good way of kind of mobilizing your team to get them involved in telling the story of what it's like to really work at your company. And when you do that, it amplifies the impact of your employer brand, because there's nothing that convinces a candidate more about joining your company than hearing from other employees. And the last set of skills is around digital marketing and advertising. So we often think of advertising when we think about promoting our jobs, and that's great. And some people call that recruitment advertising. You'll still advertise your jobs. It's not that you won't do that anymore, but you'll be doing that in different ways. One of the key new ways to do that is using programmatic technology that basically advertises your jobs on channels that will help you find talent in an automatic way versus in a manual way. So that's now part of this set of digital marketing technologies that are being used in recruiting. And another area is thinking about your career site, which of course houses your jobs, but it also houses all the great stories about why someone should work with you, and the mission and the values and the benefits that you offer. Attracting talent to your career site is only the first part. The other key part is being able to convert them into your talent network or into applying for a job. And to do that requires an understanding of digital marketing strategies that are used for conversion rate optimization. So we have a lot of resources on the Rally community about this particular topic because it's something that everyone is trying to do, is they're trying to get the most out of those eyeballs on their career site. So career site is one area. Another area is your CRM, being able to have ongoing communications with candidates and thinking about nurturing them, keeping them engaged. Maybe they applied for a job once and they weren't the right fit, but how do you keep them warm and interested in your company to come back for future job opportunities? Using technologies like email and text, increasingly chat, which is becoming a kind of a must-have, I think, for modern career sites, as well as using approaches like remarketing, which is usually using email and text, and also retargeting, which is displaying ads to candidates that visited your career site but possibly didn't apply for a job. Hopefully that doesn't sound too overwhelming, because there's so many things that you can do with recruitment marketing. But if you just think about it in these 4 buckets and look at your own skills and look at your own practices at your company, you can start to one by one incorporate these strategies, and you'll see some of the business benefits that Carrie talked about earlier. So I mentioned that, for most people, especially in the Rally community, we already have over 22,000 people in our community. They're HR and talent acquisition practitioners. And for 20,000 of them, they have a full-time job in HR or talent acquisition. For them, recruitment marketing is a strategy. It's one of a million things that they're responsible for each and every day. But as I mentioned, there are those people that are emerging as a full-time specialist in employer brand in recruitment marketing. And we did a survey last year because I was interested in what were the differences in their job responsibilities. So you today might be sort of on the right-hand side of your screen in terms of your responsibilities. It was interesting for me to see that everyone felt that employer brand was important to them and part of their responsibility. The same thing with candidate experience in the career site. But then you can see how those who spend most of their time, if not full time, on recruitment marketing start to differ in terms of their responsibilities. Responsible for content creation, using digital marketing, using email marketing. These are some of the key areas that you can expect if you move into a full-time role, or maybe there's someone else on your team that already has a full-time job in this area, and hopefully that will grow in the future, and maybe that will present an opportunity for you. Okay, so next we wanted to look at the key channels that you need to think about when you're building out your recruitment marketing strategy. And of course, job advertising, that's the first that comes to mind. And as I said, that pretty much is part of recruitment marketing now. That's the way we view it anyway. We view advertising and branding as part of the overall marketing strategy. So advertising your jobs is still there. As I mentioned, though, there's newer technologies that you can start to consider on how to do that more efficiently and effectively to get the most out of your budget. So one area to look at would be using programmatic technology. Another key channel is your career site. Some companies have a careers page, and that's okay. That's still a great place to start. But often when candidates are researching your company, they want to go to your corporate site, click on careers or jobs, and learn more about your employee experience. So that is definitely an area to invest in as you're building out your recruitment marketing strategy. Another important channel is talent communities, and this is often where candidates will discover your company. And so these are organized by area of interest or by some kind of segmentation. Some of these sites include LinkedIn, of course, and the Muse and Fairy Godboss, and there's many. There's hundreds and hundreds, if not more. Social media, we've already talked about that. That's absolutely an important channel. If you don't have your own dedicated careers channels, this is a really good opportunity to partner with marketing. They already have a content calendar created for their social media channels. The question for them is, how are we also communicating with our audiences through social media to showcase what it's like to work here as a company? And sometimes that's the same content as they're putting out today, but sometimes it's new content that you can contribute to them to ensure that your organization can also connect with candidates through social media. Talent networks are increasingly important because these are people who opt in, usually through your career site or maybe at an event, in order to continue to hear more about your company. It's not the same as sourcers, recruiters, searching online, finding candidates, connecting with third-party services, and adding those names to your CRM. That's fine. You need to build up your talent database with targeted talent that you're interested in. But a talent network is different in that these folks come to your career site, let's say, and they're definitely interested, but they're not ready to apply. So this gives them an opportunity to provide their email address or provide their mobile phone number so that they can opt in to hear more from you in the future. And this is where modern HR and TA organizations are starting to build out monthly or quarterly talent newsletters, turning on features like job alerts in their applicant tracking system. All of that is a great way to build your own network and your own database of talent that has already said that they're interested in staying in touch with you. Employee referrals is another really key strategy in recruitment marketing, because we know that for many organizations, a third or sometimes even more of new applicants and new hires come from employee referrals. And the way we think about this from a marketing standpoint is that this is another audience, which is your employees, kind of to activate and mobilize them to advocate on your behalf to join your company. And we see many applicant tracking systems and recruitment marketing platforms evolving to include capabilities with employee referrals. So this is absolutely now becoming part of, because it should be part of, a fully integrated recruitment marketing strategy. Next is digital marketing, which I've talked about. So I'll kind of move on to the next one, which is recruitment events. Events are still essential in every HR recruiting program, but we see more and more they're moving online, virtual events, which you can do even just on Facebook. But of course, there are also technologies and platforms out there to help you manage virtual events as well. So that's hopefully a good view for you to think about all of these different channels that can be and should be part of your recruitment marketing strategy. The next piece I wanted to talk about was recruitment marketing technology, and we touched on some of these, and you can see how technology is really essential. It goes along with skills and with these practices and strategies. You can't really realize your vision and your strategy without the technology that will help you do that. And I see more and more applicant tracking systems having recruitment marketing technology as part of them. And of course, there are a suite of tools out there that are dedicated just for recruitment marketing as this function matures, which is great. So one way to look at this is you have your applicant tracking system sort of at the bottom, which everyone has an applicant tracking system, or most, I wouldn't say everyone, but most organizations have an applicant tracking system. And then it's about layering on these technologies on top of it, whether it's integrated or standalone, and that they can integrate well with each other. Career site is essential. I mentioned chat and text, which are becoming essential. I think, of course, job distribution and advertising. You'll also find tools that will help you manage your employer profiles on all of these different websites, as well as help you manage your reputation. We even see social media management becoming integrated into recruitment marketing platforms and some applicant tracking systems, as well as the ability to help you amplify your message through your employees and through your social channels, even help you with content creation. One of the biggest areas is how can you create new content on your career site? So you really need great tools around the ability to quickly create new landing pages. And then another area is around lead generation and nurture. Often this is part of CRM capability, which could be standalone or part of a recruitment marketing platform or part of an applicant tracking system. But you need a way to have your own database of talent and then to be able to capture those leads and nurture them over time. So that's how a recruitment marketing tech stack might look. Your organization probably looks different, and that's fine. Not everyone is the same, but these are the kinds of technology that you should start to consider as you mature in your recruitment marketing strategy. Okay, measurement. So we can't talk about marketing without measurement. And a lot of people ask me, what is the right way to measure your effectiveness in recruitment marketing? And I think there are three things that you can think about here. One is you have activities. The other thing you have are metrics, and then you have outcomes. And Carrie is going to talk about evolving your maturity as a recruitment marketing practitioner. And this will go hand in hand with how you can measure. Many people, when they're just starting out, think about activities. Okay, I post this many social posts a week. We ran this many events, this college recruiting season. We are producing this many employee stories where we have this technology project going on. And that's fine. That's kind of, what you do. What you track are your metrics, your views, your opens, your clicks, your shares. These are the next set of things that you need to start to measure and monitor. But really, you're mostly interested in those to see how you're doing, if what you're doing is working. But what your leadership cares about is what you report, and those are the outcomes. How many new contacts have you added to your talent network? How many people applied through the different recruitment marketing strategies and channels that you're managing? How many of those moved into screens? How many of those ultimately became new hires? And when you can start reporting on outcomes, you've really reached a maturity level that is going to allow you to realize those business benefits that Carrie mentioned in the beginning. So how to get started. I won't go through all the information on this slide, but to leave this with you, because it's another question that I often get asked is, okay, well, we're doing some of this today, but how do we put a more concerted effort into building out a strategy and putting more resources towards implementing that strategy, and where should we focus? And there are really 5 areas that I recommend. One is your job descriptions. The biggest amount of recruiting content you have are your job descriptions. It's probably what candidates see first when they get introduced to your company. So take a look at your job descriptions. Make sure they're communicating in the right way. Your careers page. If candidates, maybe found you by, searching for marketing jobs near me, and they got into Google for jobs, and then, found your job application or your job description, and clicked on it and got to your careers page, they might not just stay on that job description and apply. They might want to start to explore who you are and what you're all about. So definitely you want to invest in your careers page and building that into a fuller career site. Building out your core content assets, the core set of content that you'll need to tell your employer brand story. Employer reviews. You need to pay attention to employer reviews. Of course, you can't control them, but if you don't actively manage them and respond, then the employee's voice or the candidate's voice is the only voices that are heard. Your voice isn't being heard. So make sure you're aware of all the places where there are reviews about your company and actively participate to help manage your reputation. And the last area, and it's not the least, is social media. It's becoming, for many organizations, one of the primary ways that they reach candidates, help candidates to discover them as an organization. And even if you're not managing those channels yourself, but you're using social media, which we all are, getting better at using social to communicate with your network about what it's like to work at your organization will help everyone. So hopefully that provided a good overview of recruitment marketing and the skills that you need and some of the key channels and strategies that you'll be using. And of course, how to measure. And I think that's a good segue back to you, Carrie, to tell us about how do we really mature our recruitment marketing strategy.
That's great. Thanks, Lori. Thinking back to a couple of slides ago, technology is an important part of recruitment marketing, but certainly not the only, right? We also need the right people, right? And you talked about the skill sets required, and we need the framework and really how to go about executing and delivering on recruitment marketing. So that's where the Evolve model comes in. So the Evolve model is a model that we created that really spells out what the different capabilities and activities are within recruitment marketing. So we can talk about each one of these different process areas or workflow areas here and dig in just a little bit. So sourcing, kind of the top center there, sourcing includes all of the open web searching, the influencer referrals, resume databases, sites like LinkedIn and other network communities, lists, purchase data sources. It can also include indirect sourcing, such as RPO services, candidate research services, agencies, and again, employer referrals that Lori mentioned. Inbound marketing on the bottom left there, that's where you're really attracting the candidates that you don't know or don't have information on or know how to reach them. So this would include things like job board advertising, pay-per-click, online ad retargeting, social job sharing, events, influencer and community marketing, recruiter personnel networks, location-based marketing. And all of those activities are really intended to pull candidates into your network. Outbound marketing, on the other hand, that's where you're using the intelligent segmentation of your database to develop and then deliver targeted marketing outreach. So this would include things like the opt-in talent networks that Lori's mentioned, automated campaigns or programmatic marketing. And really what can make this effective as a strategy is to really know who your audience is, to enable profile targeting, personalized content, targeted calls to action, and geolocalization. Relationship management, this is where you're building relationships with the individual candidates that you have information on within your database. CRM capabilities are leveraged across both known and unknown talent from all channels. The capabilities here within relationship management include search, profile management, internal and external profile refresh, and then multi-channel communication like text or email or chatbot or social. Candidate engagement is where you're building relationships and sharing relevant content with your candidates to encourage them to convert. The live engagements can be achieved with things like text or chatbot, or even good old telephone, right, or personal or virtual events. Content engagement is achieved with static and dynamic content that's personalized and delivered to the right candidate at the right time. And then finally, conversions and outcomes on the bottom right-hand corner there. This is really what you're striving to accomplish, getting your candidates to convert, either apply for that job, or maybe the conversion is to join your talent network. But this only happens, right, after you've built a strong relationship with the candidates, you've engaged them, and you've placed well-designed calls to action in front of them. And Lori's touched on the measurement and tracking, right? All of this needs to be measured and tracking with good reporting and analytics to inform your future decision making. So what we found is different organizations are at different levels of maturity. And you know, as Lori said earlier, it's not a one size fits all, right? One of the biggest mistakes we see recruitment marketing leaders make is trying to get sucked in and think that they have to do everything across the board, but that's just not the case, right? Different organizations are at different levels of maturity, and it's important to understand where you're at so that you're not trying to jump ahead and implement something that's much further down the path than where your organization's at. So looking at the different levels of maturity, level one there on the left, this is really ad hoc recruitment marketing. So organizations here, they've got some activities happening, but they're on disparate technologies. They're not working together. There's inconsistency in the delivery and execution. It's not scalable. There's probably limited measurement, and there's most likely not a dedicated recruitment marketing resource. Level two, here's where the recruitment marketing activities are starting to develop, but they're probably still disconnected. The approach is getting a little bit more comprehensive, but the systems are still disparate. And again, strategies are intentional and they're sort of striving, but they're getting minimal insights and really not getting optimal results. Level three is where we see integrated and efficient recruitment marketing. The technologies are integrated or on a single platform. Automation is built within the processes. Targeted campaigns to defined audiences are created. Processes are highly scalable and repeatable. And here, talent acquisition teams would have a dedicated recruitment marketing resource. And then level four, the advanced recruitment marketing. Here's where the marketing team is delivering advanced content marketing to the right candidates at the right time. They're increasing their channels and micro-targeting to the candidates. Programs and efforts are optimized. And this is really where the past successes are driving the future decisions and strategies. Teams know what's worked in the past and what's not worked, and then they're using that information to improve upon their plans moving forward. Lori talked a lot about measuring our success and activities and outcomes, and here's just a few. I won't go into too much detail, but here's just a few of the KPIs or key performance indicators that are most important within recruitment marketing. Understanding the cost per visit, the cost per candidate, cost per applicant, right? Understanding what the individual costs are for each of those. Understanding new hire retention rates. And then ultimately at the bottom there, the application completion rate or the conversion rates. It's just so important with any of this to really measure what you're doing, know what's working, and know what your costs are so that you know how effective you're being in your recruitment marketing strategies. So with that, I just wanted to leave everybody with a couple different resources. Rally Recruitment Marketing has just a ton of good information on the website that you can use to learn more. And then within the telemetry website, there is the Evolve framework, which again has a lot of good information on really how to do recruitment marketing. And it's really completely just technology agnostic. So thank you, Lori, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.
Thank you.